Welcome to the Sports Hangover. I'm Michael Benatar, joined alongside J-Dog.
Mike, I am Sportradamus today, not J-Dog at all.
You are Sportradamus. We're back for our 2023 predictions, and also we're gonna recap some of our 2022 predictions that hit. I mean, we always hit something. Our predictions are always usually spot on. I don't know why we don't get more press on what we do here.
It is weird. It's like we don't get pickup in the trades for our predictions.
I know.
It's weird.
By the way, there is a Sportradamus t-shirt on the sportshangover.com. So if you do want a Sportradamus t-shirt, you can buy it. I need to trademark that name before this comes out.
That's true. Before the show comes out. So do that before you publish. Mentioning the sportshangover.com, I'm wearing our comfy hoodie. It's cold in LA today. It's rainy. Perfect day for the hoodie. I love it traveling. I was wearing it on flights to and from the East Coast for the holidays. So soft and comfy, very affordable. It's on the sportshangover.com, and you do free marketing for us. And so it's really a win-win.
Yeah. Well, it's also really comfy too. So yeah, definitely win-win. Do you want to go over what we hit last year? Because I know you hit some. You didn't want to tell me the other day. We're having beers. I told you some of mine, but we can go over our 2022 Sportradamus predictions that actually hit.
We're going to forget the ones that didn't hit and just focus on the ones that hit.
Yes.
That sounds like something we would do.
I also leaned into maybe a little more vagueness this year, because I noticed the ones that were hitting were very vague. Like, remember when I predicted COVID, which was a wild one? It was a kind of a vague prediction, but it was a prediction in there.
You did say something like something would impact the whole sports world that would like cause chaos.
Something like that. It was 2020.
It was that happened. 2020 was a movie, basically.
It basically was. Why don't you start? Why don't you start with some of your predictions that hit?
So one of mine that hit was ESPN brings in a play-by-play person for Monday Night Football from outside the company. And this was exactly what they did with Joe Buck. Again, following your line of vagueness. I didn't say who it was or where they'd be from, but who could have predicted Joe Buck? And so I feel like I got at least the setup for it right.
I felt like this year did have some crazy moves, not only in the NFL, in the NFL world of watching sports.
Well, listen, Al Michael on Amazon. No one had that in our predictions last year.
No one had that. And Kirk, he needs to go. That I'm going to add that to my prediction. Kirk is gone next year for sure.
I don't know if he signed a long-term deal or not. He gave Al a nice thank you last night. I was thinking of you as they had a nice little moment at the end of another terrible Thursday night game. I think 85% of their games were terrible, as always on Thursday nights. Maybe it doesn't work at this point. I mean, there's been so many bad games on Thursdays. They're never competitive.
Do you think they're only bad because we're so focused on them? Because Monday night games are sometimes bad too. Like, I don't know why Denver keeps getting primetime slots. Like, we should just flex the games.
Russell was supposed to be the guy, which I know we're going to talk about Russell in a minute.
We are going to talk about Russell. Well, I can bring that up.
Well, that's the thing. This year it was. I was just going to mention the Broncos were terrible, and they got a bunch of primetime games. The Rams were terrible. They got so many primetime games. The Packers were terrible. The Colts were terrible. And all these teams got primetime games. We need just Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, Mahomes, that's it in primetime every week.
It should be like flex games. Like, okay, you no longer need to play this AFC division rival. You need to play somebody else that's actually better, and it'll make a better game. That we should have flex schedules in there. Like, instead of playing
Monday nights,
week 16,
especially.
Yeah. Like, rotate the schedule like live.
It's hard.
I know.
Yeah,
but it's short.
No one goes to games anymore. We just watch on TV.
You're going to a game on Sunday. You were telling me the other day, you're like, I'm going to go to the Rams Chargers game. I'm not going back. I can't go back twice in 1 month.
I've never been to SoFi, and so I don't want to wait like another pregnancy 9 months until I can go in September. So I just need to get out there. They're having the Rams Chargers game, Battle for LA on Sunday. I'll be there on New Year's Day. Great start to the year. And then on January 9th, the college football championship game is also at SoFi, and those tickets, the get-in price is over $300 for that game.
That's crazy. Yeah, just go to this game. Make sure you get cheap tickets. So last year, I said the biggest loser of 2022 will be Russell Wilson and the Seahawks. Now, the Seahawks part we can drop off. I wouldn't say they're a loser.
Drop it. Yeah.
In a way, they're a winner.
Smith saved them. We didn't know that would happen.
A winner. Russell Wilson was the biggest flop, biggest loser. I can't believe it hit so hard. Like, it was unanimous across everybody you ask, like, who is the biggest loser of the NFL? It was definitely Russell Wilson. And
I give you mad props for this selection because you're so right. You nailed the loser of the year, and that's not even vague. That's like real life, and you nailed it completely.
I almost feel bad for like Denver fans. Like, I think I was in a thread with a Denver fan, and there's like hope. It's like, oh, he's probably just coaching, like no big deal. I think they're screwed. I literally think they're screwed for the next 5 years. So good luck with that. Russell's bad. They got to pay him a lot of money. I know they have new owners. I know the owners didn't have anything to do with Russell and the coaching and anything like that. So maybe we'll see a shift over the next few years.
Maybe there's a prediction shift on my end about that shift. Another one that I got, I know you have more too. Tom Brady will be embarrassed and upset in the playoffs. I had that last year. Think back, they hosted a playoff game against what would become the world champion Rams, and Stafford to Cooper Kupp late. There was a bomb down the middle that beat Tom Brady in that game, and it set up the Rams on their run. So I got that one right.
I still can't. Yeah, sometimes when we go into January, I almost don't count that as like 2022 for some reason. Isn't it weird?
It was.
It was. Like I went skiing last January, and I'm like, I already went skiing this year. Like that's kind of crazy.
You did.
Didn't even think about it. So
you did.
Mine was Drew Brees will be off NBC football, and that one hit. I knew right away.
Another direct hit. This is two in a row.
He was so bad. I don't know if the clapper's going to be off. I didn't add him to my prediction this year.
Wow, that'd be another back-to-back.
But have you seen the awkwardness when they're like, they throw it to the booth or whatever, the studio, and they're like, Russell Wilson here, let's see what he can do next quarter or whatever it is. And it's like a weird throw off to the commercial. The clapper's got to go. He has no energy or persona really. He literally is just kind of a guy that's cheering you on in a way.
I think he's really trying to speak in 5-second sound bites. Producers, I can tell you love that. But he's taking it to an extreme because he is nailing his 5 seconds like to the word. And as they go back to the booth,
a lot of pressure.
Drew Brees actually got struck by lightning a few weeks ago. Did you see that?
Where did he get struck by lightning?
You didn't see that? He got struck by lightning. There's actually footage of it. It was very dramatic.
What?
People didn't know if he was okay or if he was going to survive. And then it turns out, Mike, it was a marketing stunt by PointsBet for lightning bets like Thanksgiving weekend or something. Backfired completely because apparently people thought Drew Brees was dead for like 2 hours until he tweeted that he wasn't dead and to go to the PointsBet lightning deal.
I mean, I guess in a way,
bad execution on that.
I guess in a way it worked. It got press, right? It got people to talk about Drew Brees, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, go to this website. Go.
Yeah, but I was taking a deep dive on it. And like, did Drew Brees the night before this video came out, did he have to like text all of his family and friends and say, by the way, I'm not dying tomorrow. You might think I'm dying tomorrow, but don't freak out. Because like everyone thought he was dead for 2 hours. So like, how does his family, how do the Saints react to this? It was very odd that Drew Brees would do this. It doesn't need money. He's so rich, but you're right. He's off TV. He's off PointsBet commercials, and we don't know where he's going to pop up. He didn't pop up to help the Saints this year. They were bad.
No. I had a scandal of 2022, and I said a large athlete will be involving in a crypto scandal. So I kind of pieced this together to say it's good. Tom Brady. Tom Brady and FTX. Like that is a huge scandal that Tom Brady happens to be involved in. Other celebrities happen to be involved in. Now, not directly involved in, but Tom Brady did lose potentially $600 million in his FTX account, which
I feel like you nailed the second loser of the year. It was Russell and Tom Brady are the losers, and you nailed both of them because Brady, between the divorce and the FTX, the crypto, the Bucks playing bad, he's just had a terrible year, and FTX is a big part of that. Diamond hands, right? Diamond hands?
Diamond eyes. Laser eyes. You
diamond
want the
eyes.
laser eyes.
Laser eyes. Yeah. I don't know all the big
diamond hands are like you're holding forever. You're just you're holding.
That worked out well.
You don't sell. Yeah.
My last one was
I
think this is accurate too. I'm putting in the accurate bucket. Mike continues to threaten to quit fantasy football, but then in the fall actually plays. That was my prediction last year. And that was right.
In a way, I did quit. I was booted from a league, and then it was like a pity invite from our mutual friend. Yeah. But
you played, and so I'm calling you that victory that you played. I'm going to predict the same thing this year. I'm just letting you know. Okay. I'm predicting that you're going to say all year you're not going to play, but then in the fall we're going to see you in a league somewhere somehow, and so it's going to happen again.
I hate fantasy. I don't like it anymore. It is not a thing I enjoy to play. You guys talk about it nonstop. Like you have some effect over what is really going to happen in your fantasy games. We're watching football. You and mutual friend on the phone the entire time watching minute by minute what's going on in your fantasy. Yeah. Who cares about the fantasy? No one cares. No one cares.
I care. I'm batted apparently too. I can't win a championship myself. I'm already eliminated from things also. But fantasy is a cruel mistress. It's amazing we all sign up to play fantasy. 90% of people fail at fantasy football. 90% of people don't win. There's a 10% hit rate. That's so much less than anything else that we choose to do. Like betting on games, you're hopefully 50%, maybe 45, maybe 55.
Sure.
If your outcome is 10% on your bets, you're probably not going to bet anymore. Yet we all sign up and play fantasy for a 90% sadness rate. It's crazy.
I know. I've realized that, and I no
Yeah.
longer look
Yep.
at it. I automate
But you're
everything.
gonna play again, and that's
I
what
probably
matters.
lost this year, so I didn't even look. The ESPN app
Last
is
place.
deleted off my phone.
I
Yeah,
think you
great.
owe us food and drinks for our draft next year. So even if you don't
No,
participate, you still have to fund the draft.
no. If I just leave, there's
Yeah,
no payment.
I think so.
What else? What else you had? You want to go into predictions? I know you had something else you wanted to do.
Yeah, before we go to predictions for the new year,
Yeah.
we'll tease it for just a moment. I have a question for you. You're a big time bettor, of course. So I have a list of the most bet events of the year
Oh,
of
okay. All right.
2022, the most bet events. I want to see if you can
Okay.
get the first couple right. Number
Uh,
one, what would you say? Most bet?
I mean, I feel like it's got to be the World Cup. That's worldwide. That's everywhere.
Hmm.
How can that not be the most bet? Right? That's global. Are we talking U.S.
I think we're
casinos?
talking US because World Cup is not on our list.
It's
I
not even
don't
on the
think we're
list.
doing outside betting. This is a DraftKings sportsbook betting. So
Okay, so
let's
we're
go
okay. So we're in
domestic.
the U.S.
Domestic.
Okay, so we're in
Yeah.
the U.S. I'm gonna say maybe some college football stuff is in there. The World Series possibly.
No
Maybe the,
college football, no World Series.
what the hell do people bet on?
The Super
I'm all right.
Bowl. The
Super
Super
Bowl,
Bowl.
of course. The Super Bowl, yes. The Super
That's
Bowl
number
definitely
one.
is
All
in
right.
there.
Rams Bengals, number one. Number two is
Okay,
not football. And that's a clue for you. What would you
not
say in
football.
America, not football, not the World
Mm,
Series?
March Madness.
It's an event in the spring, but it's not March Madness. It's a
An
good,
event
it's a
in
good
this,
thought.
so it's not World Series.
It's
That's not in the
not.
spring.
No,
In this,
no.
oh, the Derby.
The Derby's a great idea, but it's not the Derby.
What the hell? What are people betting on in the spring?
It's the Masters is number 2 most bet
No,
event at the DraftKings
really?
Sportsbook this year. The Masters Sunday is number 2 before all the other NFL games. I'll just help you out here. The rest are
Yeah.
NFL playoff games. We had
Oh.
Bengals at Chiefs was a good one. Burrow and Mahomes. We had a 49ers Rams on the same day last year. And then we also had the first game of this year. The kickoff game was Bills at Rams in September, was number 5 on the most
So it's
bet list. But I was
mostly,
shocked that number 2 was the
yeah.
Masters after the Super Bowl.
I'm guessing it's because I wonder if so. This is from DraftKings, so obviously they're going to sway it a
Yeah.
different way. But I wonder if that lines up with what Vegas saw, because I imagine the World Series took a lot of money. These big sporting events, people are there gambling, betting a lot of money. I mean, Mattress Mac won what, $20 million, 10 million, something like that through the World Series. So it's
He
gotta
really
be,
did. That was
be up
exciting.
there. I don't, and he didn't bet through DraftKings. He bet through like MGM, all that stuff in Vegas.
He bet through like every single one because he maxed out everywhere he went. And so he did the max bet at like 5 casinos, and then he had the wheelbarrow of cash on his
Well, that's the
plane.
thing. I think DraftKings is volume, less money, right? They're not going to put your limits on there are probably capped at a certain amount. So they're just doing more volume than most people. But I wish we could do gambling in California. How great would that be if it was legal? I have to go on.
It actually failed this year. Like that's one of the losers of the year is California for voting no on sports betting. And if we were conspiracy theory people, which actually we are, we might say, what happened here? Because everyone voted yes for it, but it actually came out no.
It is weird.
But we're not going to go down that road because that's a bad road to go down.
I was going to say, I feel like the counties outside of LA are the ones that probably didn't want it. Like they probably, and also very confusing on the wording because sometimes you hit yes, but it really
they try
means
to confuse
no.
you. They actually try to.
I know. I don't appreciate that. It should just be a straight, like, do you want sports gambling? Yes or no. Not like, don't make a yes become a no. That's what I'm trying to say.
Sadly, we still can't bet on sports in California.
We cannot. All right, let's do our 2023 predictions. I'm curious to see what you got. I don't have as many this year, so I want to see what you got. I have some that I really feel that are strong, but I don't think they're as hard as last year.
Okay, well, I'll get us started, and we'll go back and forth a little bit. I'm going to start with Aaron Rodgers and the Packers. And Aaron Rodgers is not going to be on the Packers next year. And you might say, well, he has so many great options of where he could go. That's not a surprise. That's not a big prediction. But I'm drawing a straight line to a destination, and I'm drawing it to Denver. To Denver.
Okay,
Aaron Rodgers is going to go to the Broncos.
Okay,
Russell Wilson is going to be released. They're out. They're done with Russell. They're going to take the cap hit. The new ownership, Mike, is done with Russell. It's that bad. And they're tipping their hand by already firing Nathaniel Hackett before the season even ends. After he didn't even finish 1 year, Russell Wilson is out. The rich owners make so much money. They don't care about the dead salary cap, and they're going to want to win right away. You don't win right away with a draft pick. You do it with a veteran, Aaron Rodgers to the Broncos 2023.
All right, I'm gonna give you like a C- on that prediction. I feel like it's a long stretch. It's a lot of money moved around.
Yeah, rich people.
If I was gonna go the other way, if I want to write this down and make it a real prediction, I would say Aaron Rodgers retires at the end of the season. So I'm gonna write that down on mine.
Is that your version of Aaron Rodgers prediction?
Wow. Yeah, he retires at the end of the season. I do have somebody moving somewhere. I have Tom Brady going to the Raiders. I feel like it makes the most sense.
Las Vegas. Oh, that's a good one.
He goes out to Vegas. Their car is done. Tom Brady goes out to Vegas, living in, Vegas as a single man. This could be a great shot for him.
Oh, wow.
It doesn't ultimately make sense because I don't know if Tom Brady wants to move to all those destinations, and it would feel kind of weird for his last year to just go to the Raiders. But I feel like the Raiders have some talent, and he could just slot right in, and Derek Carr could be traded or get out of there. And it would feel right if he was a Raider next year to end his career.
I love that one. The Raiders are treating Derek Carr very weirdly. He's been their quarterback for so many years, their leader. And then this year, everything went to shit. But is that on Derek Carr? He's just playing like he always does, I feel like. And they're really scapegoating him and saying, don't come in the next few weeks. It's kind of weird to send a leader home like that.
And what Devontae Adams is kind of upset. He's like, yeah, we're not happy about the move or whatever. And I don't understand it. It's like, are they just giving up this season? Like they're not going anywhere. And the weird thing is, before the season started, we thought the AFC West or whatever was going to be so strong, right? We thought the Chargers and the Raiders and the Broncos, it was just going to be this clash of the greatest talent ever. And we were all disappointed. It was just KC again. It was
KC again. The Chargers were rough this year. I know they're winning a few games late. They're going to make the playoffs. It wasn't impressive for most of the year, and they also have a ton of injuries. I love the Brady to Vegas take. I'm hopeful that he goes to Miami still because the Miami quarterback situation is another sad place. I'm just going to say Brady does play, but not in Tampa is my vague prediction on that.
Okay, I like that.
The destination, which I like.
Yeah, I'm doing destination. I have a Super Bowl prediction. Already put some bets on this.
Oh, me too. Let's hear it.
I am doing KC versus San Francisco, and San Francisco wins it with Brock, and I'm very excited for it. A rookie. It's just such a great story to hear, oh, Mr. Irrelevant, the last pick in the draft. He comes in, saves the season after two other quarterbacks go down with injuries, and he takes the team to a championship. I love San Francisco. I don't think there's any other NFC team other than the Eagles that feel complete. If Dallas was in there or Minnesota, Green Bay, possibly getting into the championship game, I don't think that could happen. I feel like San Francisco is complete. They got a ton of weapons. So that's what I'm going. San Francisco wins the Super Bowl.
It's a big prediction because you're saying Mr. Irrelevant is going to lead them not only to the Super Bowl, but to win the Super Bowl, you're saying, right? The Niners will win the game to beat Patrick Mahomes in the Super Bowl. That would be an epic, incredible run. We've never seen anything like that from a rookie, let alone the last pick of the draft, the 7th round guy. I love your confidence in Mr. Confident, right? Because his best trait is his confidence. It's not his arm strength. It's not his accuracy. It's his confidence. His teammates love him. He makes throws in traffic, and so far it's working. Will it work all the way through the playoffs? That's what I'm concerned about. I mentioned to you, imagine late January, NFC Championship game in Philadelphia. Are the Niners really going to win that game as a 9-10 point dog probably in that game?
I mean, the thing I'm seeing right now is, does Jalen Hurts come back fully healthy? Is he capable of playing? Do they get knocked off in the first round of the playoffs? Do they become, is it Minnesota or is it Dallas they end up playing? Or is it Tampa Bay they end up playing? If that happens, because weird things happen. Last year, we didn't think Cincinnati had a shot at it, and they just moved their way up. I don't know. I mean, I obviously think a lot of people think San Francisco could do it, but I don't think there's any competition really that I'm scared of. I'm not scared of Kirk. I'm not scared of Tom Brady.
Yeah, the Vikings are not scary. So it's setting up right now. The Niners as a 3 seed. They'll host a playoff game like maybe the Giants or the Commanders. That's an easy one in round 1. Then they go to Minnesota. We know how Kirk Cousins does under pressure. No one's worried about that. Niners might be favored at Vikings in a playoff game. They might be favored. And so I like the Niners there. And then it's at Eagles, and that's this one I don't like. And so on the other side by the way, one more thing on Brock Purdy. I found out today, actually. He grew up a Miami Dolphins fan in Florida. He wears number 13 on his jersey for Dan Marino.
Whoa. Okay.
I
Wow.
gotta like him after that, right?
Maybe he gets traded to. I mean, you guys don't have a quarterback anymore, right?
Not
Miami's
one
done.
that is allowed to play. No.
Should we add that to a prediction? Because I don't think Tua. How about this? I don't think Tua's in the NFL next year.
That's crazy.
I'm gonna
You're like one of those Twitter people who just like spout off about Twitter. He should never play again. No one says it. I was with our mutual friend yesterday. No one says it about Kenny Pickett, who had 2 concussions this year. His little developing brain. He's 22 years old. No one tells Kenny Pickett to retire, but Tua has a couple concussions, and now he's supposed to retire and never play again. I don't get it.
They were pretty bad concussions. We watched
this
that one.
They didn't even notice till a day later. How bad was that?
It's like once it starts, it almost seems like they can't stop the concussions. Like he's getting concussion every few weeks.
He's not the only one. And you know, I have a long-term thing where this is going to ruin the NFL because we're not going to have any quarterbacks left. And you're just kind of running backs taking direct snaps because no one can throw a spiral because they're all concussed. But we'll see if that happens 15 years.
They're kind of doing that. They used to do that in Tennessee until they got, what's his name? He has no hair anywhere, right? What's the guy that played for Tennessee last night? The backup from Pittsburgh that came over there.
Josh Dobbs.
Josh
he
Dobbs.
won the game, right? No, they lost.
No,
he played well. He played well.
He played a lot better than Malik. Yeah.
Another unwatchable Thursday night game on Amazon.
Yeah, didn't really watch much.
My Super Bowl matchup is a little more predictable. It's Chiefs over the Eagles. The thing is, the Bills will be the number 1 seed as long as they beat the Bengals on Monday Night Football this week. And I don't know if you have a bet on that plan, but the Bills are likely to be the 1 seed, Chiefs 2. And so it will require the Chiefs going to Buffalo, AFC Championship game to win. I'll be taking the Chiefs in that game. Josh Allen has been kind of hit or miss this year. It hasn't been as dynamic.
Something's wrong. Something's wrong with his shoulder.
He takes so many hits.
Takes a lot, but he's a big boy. He's a really big guy out there. But yeah, I like that too. I could see that happening. I think the injury with Hurts. I think somebody going in healthy. San Francisco looks healthy. KC looks healthy. I don't think Philly is healthy enough. If Jalen Hurts is at 85%, can he win these games that he was winning before at such a high level at 100%? I don't know. I'm old. I hurt myself skiing and I'm still in pain. My arm still hurts 2 weeks later. And I'm not a professional athlete. I can only imagine what this guy's going through. Probably could play, but I don't think it's going to be good.
The Eagles' weapons are really good. I know the Niners' weapons are good. I think you still take the Eagles' weapons over them, right? With A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, Miles Sanders, Goddard.
I don't know. I mean, I feel like Christian McCaffrey is just so much better than Sanders, right? He's more flexible in what he can do.
Kittle's really good. The Debo's been banged up. Ayuk is okay. Yeah. The Eagles receivers, I mean, they make stuff happen. Even with Gardner Minshew, he threw for like 400 yards against the quote-unquote good Dallas defense.
We'll see what happens. Dallas is not good.
I mean, they will.
All right, I have one. This is my scandal of 2023. It has nothing really to do with the sport world or anything. It's just kind of in general. I think there's going to be some sort of AI scandal involving high-profile people or something's going to happen. AI, it is, I know I talked about it last week. It is so powerful what this chat GPT thing is doing. And I know everybody's talking about it. I just read a report. They're actually scared to release all the research that they have from all the inquiries on their website. They're scared. They're like, this would terrify the world and this would not be good if people could see what's going on. I think it is so powerful. Something's going to happen. I don't know what it is, but it's going to be insane with AI. AI is just, we're getting to a point now where you go into this thing. If you have not tried it, just look up ChatGPT, go look it up, type in anything you want, and you'll get amazed. It can give you Excel formulas. It can give you coding for whatever you want, and you can just paste it and it works. I don't know. I think something in that world there will be a scandal of some sort. That's what
I think you're onto something. I think there's so many deep fakes out there. You can like fake like a video with someone, like a celebrity, but the celebrity never did it, but it looks exactly like him. I saw this with Zuckerberg and it was so good. There's so much out there that they're going to take advantage of. And like any new technology, there's so much opportunity to run rampant with it before it's regulated. So I mean, it's a good vague prediction that's likely to come true. One of my predictions is your favorite person, Elon Musk, will not own Twitter by the end of 2023. It's going to get ugly before it gets better. I think he's going to be forced to sell it because Tesla shares, he keeps selling his Tesla shares to pay for Twitter. At some point, you can't keep doing that. And so I think he's going to be looking for an exit ramp in 2023, and he'll be looking for buyers to take over.
Actually, I have a BDE, and it is about Twitter. Twitter is getting my big dick energy for 2023. I think Twitter will be better, more powerful. Elon will not sell Twitter at all. Um, the reason why he's selling it is so he has extra cash. He has millions of shares of Tesla. People were shorting the stock. He's like just trying to cash out when he can get extra money, right? Because if the stock drops 20%, you lose 20% of your net worth. Take out some of that money. I think Twitter's going to be fine. It's a private company now. He's not going to sell it, especially he's not going to sell it within a year. It's not going to be worth $44 billion. He holds on to it.
Much less.
I think he's going to somehow make money of it. But my BDE was Twitter plus YouTube and YouTube TV because they got the NFL direct to whatever it's called, the package, the NFL package.
So YouTube
is also my BDE. Yeah.
That's Google / YouTube / YouTube TV. That's conglomerate, big tech. Yeah. But that's exciting, and we are excited. We talked about that last week. We're excited for YouTube TV and YouTube premium channels to have Sunday Ticket next year.
It's gonna be nice. So they're getting my BDE awards of 2023.
Speaking of streaming sports, I have a prediction. It's a little bit vague. I don't know exactly what degree it's going to happen, but Apple and Disney will link up, and ESPN Plus is going to become one with Apple TV Plus. So many people think Bob Iger came back to run Disney after retirement for 2 years on his yacht because he's going to sell Disney to Apple. I'm not saying that's going to happen. That could happen. I'm not saying it's going to happen. What's very intriguing to me is the Sunday Ticket deal that you just mentioned with YouTube TV getting the rights for $2.5 billion a year. That was always supposed to be Apple. It always was. And then Bob Iger comes back in the last moment, in the last month, and then Apple drops out of the bidding for Sunday Ticket. It's almost like they want to reposition their $2.5 billion a year into something else involving sports. I think ESPN could be a great place to do it.
Now, I agree with like maybe Apple buying ESPN, getting those rights. It seems very complicated. We had like an hour-long discussion about the streaming world the other night. I don't know what's going to happen, but that one just doesn't seem like it could happen. Now, I don't know. Maybe it could, but it seems too far off for what Apple wants to do. Apple wants to own something. Maybe they already have the rights right now for MLB. They have some. Do they have some soccer too?
MLS? Yeah, but they need more, right? To really matter, you need more than just a couple sports. You need everything that ESPN Plus has to offer. And a lot of people think Disney will spin off, whether it's ESPN or just ESPN Plus, whatever it is. People think they'll spin it off, become its own entity, so it doesn't weigh down the stock price of Disney anymore.
But does that means they lose the ABC streaming of NBA games and everything like that? It's like you would sell off that would have to be like a $100 billion deal to take all the rights, the TV rights, everything.
Something that Bob Iger gets his hands on because he's not coming back to just chill out and just run a normal company.
How about
he's coming back for some big time M&A.
If anything happened, it would be just Apple straight up buying Disney, right? There would be no other way around it. You wouldn't sell.
That's one way to do it.
Yeah.
Is Bob Iger going to take it that far? Can he convince the Disney board that they should be sold to Apple? I mean, he wrote in his book, this book that I have right here that you let me borrow, the book from Bob Iger. He said it. Yeah. I like the book. There's a lot of management advice, leadership. But he said if Steve Jobs was still alive, he may have already sold Disney to Apple, or maybe vice versa if the market caps were different. But Steve Jobs didn't make it, so that never happened.
So would it make them too powerful? Would it make Apple the one and only? Like, there's no other no one can compete other than Amazon, but Amazon doesn't have all those rights. Then it would be like Fox and all these companies. They wouldn't have what Apple has. So I don't know.
Will the Biden administration allow it? They allowed Activision, Microsoft to happen. That was a smaller scale. I think they blocked something else this year.
Well, Activision hasn't gone through yet. They're still like determining if it's actually if they're allowing it. But yeah, I don't know. It seems almost too big. Like there has to be smaller things to do. Like sell off certain, I don't know. Can you sell your certain rights to people?
The leagues would have to agree to that to be bought out or change a contract. That's harder to do. It's hard. I think Apple wants to make a big splash in sports streaming, and this is the best way to do it is with the power of ESPN Plus.
I have some food news for 2023. I think.
Oh my gosh, our friend, our summer food expert, Justin Gay, will be so happy to hear this.
We haven't done food news in a while. I think this one's going to be big. There's been like rumblings of it. You've seen more of it in your stores, at least in Whole Foods, maybe Erewhon. But I think non-alcoholic beverages are going to have their moment in 2023. They're all over the place now. You can get Athletic Brewing. You can get IPAs that are non-alcoholic with Athletic Brewing. You can get cocktails, dry It's like dry January where you can drink gin flavored drinks. I think it's going to be the biggest wave of 2023 in drinks. There's even a bar right now that just opened up in New York, all non-alcoholic cocktails.
Wow.
I think it's going to
Shouldn't
be
be
a huge
a bar,
wave.
right? Call it something else.
I guess you just, well, you got to call it a bar if they're serving some sort of drink. You can't call it a coffee shop. But I think non-alcoholic beverages really take over. There's so many good options now. There's like probiotic drinks. Have you had any non-alcoholic stuff? I mean, I know I brought some around occasionally.
I've had some kombucha. I've had some.
Not really. You
know
need
if
to
that's-
drink the non-alcoholic IPAs. They taste just like beer, like no difference from what it is. And it's not like the Heineken Zeros where they kind of taste like beer. This is like good stuff. So I think it's going to have a big movement 2023.
Well, I do apologize to our friend Justin Gay, who actually won't like your prediction because he's a big mead guy, bourbon guy. I know he's giving you some whiskey advice when you were out in the mountains skiing. The thing is Gen Z, they say, as far as trends go, Gen Z is killing alcohol. I think they're doing other drugs. They're doing caffeine. They're doing probably weed and cocaine and everything else, but they are killing alcohol. And so if you're talking about trends, I think less alcohol is becoming a trend for younger people. And as Gen Z becomes a bigger market share above 21, what does that look like for bars and for alcohol distributors?
Yeah, just non-alcohol. I mean, it's still just as expensive as alcohol, which blows my mind. Like there's a non-alcoholic shop down the street and they sell like, it's all nice glass bottles and it's like $30 for just like.
It just seems silly. It should be a little less than alcohol, but maybe we'll get there. A few more that I have, a couple in the NBA.
Okay.
Kyrie goes at it again and gets blackballed by the NBA, similar to how Colin Kaepernick is blackballed by the NFL.
Well, the Colin Kaepernick thing, I feel like it's a little different, but the Kyrie
much different scenarios, but the blackballing will be the same. So Kyrie, my prediction is he will speak up again. He'll cause more problems, and this time he'll be released from the Nets, and no team will pick him up because they just can't deal with it.
He's already gotten his shoe discontinued from Nike. He's been dropped by Nike, which I feel like that's a big deal. That's got to be hundreds of millions of dollar deal or something like that. So
I'm sure.
I could see that happening again. I can see him getting a little hyped up maybe near playoffs or something like that. And I don't know, maybe he learned his lesson to not like say crazy stuff, but who knows? But I like that
experience. Once you're an anti-Semite, you're always an anti-Semite. But prove me wrong, Kyrie. Stick around for a little while. Another NBA one, just while I'm on the subject, is the Warriors, who are 16 and 18, under 500. They're going to go on a run because no one cares about basketball before Christmas Day. And I tell you this all the time. Christmas Day just happened. Basically, opening day just happened. So the Warriors are actually 0-0. They're not 16 and 18. They're not under 500. And they're going to win the finals. They're going to go get hot in 2023 in the spring. And they're going to win the finals, even though if the playoffs started today, they wouldn't even be in the playoffs. And I just want to set that up for why it's such a good prediction.
So Warriors win the title. Okay, I like that one. I didn't make any NBA ones. I had the Nets last year that didn't hit. I'll let you know that.
Well, you had Durant, Harden, and Kyrie on the Nets. I don't know what went wrong there, but it didn't work.
They're not together anymore. I have some like TV Grammy predictions. Grammy Best Album. I'm gonna give it to Beyonce for Renaissance. Great album. Love the album.
Very beat out T Swift. That's asking for a lot.
It's a great album. Emmy. I'm doing Best Drama, White Lotus, and Best Comedy.
It's not a drama. It's a comedy, right?
I don't. It was under the best drama category. I think.
Is it a drama category? Really?
White Lotus, and then for comedy, I put Only Murders in the Building.
Only Murders was really good. White Lotus was one of my shows of the year. I have it in my top 5 shows of the year. I thought it'd be more of a comedy. I guess it's like a mix, but it's an hour, so maybe you'd call it a drama.
Well, they put weird things in comedy, like Atlanta's in comedy. Atlanta's a really good show, but I wouldn't call it a comedy. I'd almost want to put it in a drama. So yeah, that's what I got. I mean, there's so many good shows in 2022. I feel like I watched a lot of great shows.
I think we watch all of them because we're talking about how we're not streaming much this time of year because we watched them all.
Yeah, I've literally nothing to watch. I've watched all of Mission Impossible in the last week.
That's when times are tough. I'll go with predictions for that too.
Yeah.
I would say for comedy, Dave should win for best comedy.
It was a great show.
With our boy, what's his name now? I forget.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah,
I
forgot
forget his name now, but he's so
He's
clever.
so good.
He's done a few seasons of a show. I know they're shooting for season 3 coming up in the new year. His comedies, it just makes you like, it takes you to some place. It makes you think
Yep.
about things differently. It's always a weird scenario. It's kind of like got some Curb Your Enthusiasm vibes, but he's like a young Larry David in a way where he's causing all these problems without like trying to. Just his natural state is causing problems. Such a good show if you want to watch a comedy this time of year. Stream Dave.
After somebody mentioned it to me, I can't look at shows the same way now, but somebody mentioned all the people we love on TV. Larry David, the Dave Show, White Lotus, whatever it is. He's saying everybody that you're watching on TV has some form of autism because you don't do that in real life, right? Like Larry David, literally, like if somebody was doing that, you'd be like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, you can't say this stuff right here. And it just made me think, like, everybody, all the writers in the room must know that because they make characters so outlandish that they would never be a normal person. Larry David in real life cannot be like that because it would not be a normal person, right? Like
maybe many more people than we think are actually have autism that matches up with the characters. Maybe that's a way to think about it.
Maybe. Yeah. So it's, I've never been able to watch it the same again. It's like all these people have like a slight disorder.
They're all
and it's
off.
like, oh, that's why you're saying like, don't cut me in the coffee line.
But I love how it causes that chaos. Lil Dicky is the name.
Little Dicky, yes.
So Lil Dicky is the star of Dave. It's very clever. It's on FX. If you have YouTube TV or Hulu, you can stream it. My drama, I'd say a little tied. I'm not putting White Lotus at the very top. I love White Lotus, but not the top. I'd say 2 that I love this year were Ozark, the finale of Ozark. Right. Just a lot of death and murder. Went out with a bang.
Not as directly. Good as White Lotus, though.
And then Euphoria. I didn't watch Euphoria before this year, so I streamed both seasons. I think it was season 1 and season 2, and the drama, of course, with the star of the year. It's just been great show.
With Zendaya. Yeah, I think it's a great show. It's hard too because that feels so long ago. It feels like I watched that.
But it was spring. It was this year.
But it feels so long. It's like all these shows like Dave, I feel like that was in January. Yeah.
It's HBO crazy. Also, like, they take their time because they make such big budget episodes sometimes.
I just have 2 more. I have I have Small Dick Energy Award, and I'm going to give it to crypto. Crypto this year.
By the way, as you talk about crypto, people are mad about the term small dick energy because apparently, and I'm not saying this from my positioning, I didn't make this up, but I was reading a thread that
on small
you should not insult a man's dick size because it's more about how he uses it than his small dick size. So small dick energy is not as accepted anymore. However, we have a big dick energy segment, so I think it's okay to use small dick energy.
Sure.
So proceed.
But if you had a really small dick, do you mention it and get upset? Like, is this a form that small dick energy goes to and requests like don't mention small penises anymore?
I'm not on that forum, so I'm not sticking up for that group. I'm just sticking up for, like, in general. It's like, in general, just be careful about in general. Small dick.
Don't talk about small. Well, my small dick energy this year is crypto. Crypto will have a rough year. Maybe small dick energy. It's not going to grow big. It's not going to be big dick energy. But I will say, I'm not stopping investing. So I like when everybody's not on it. It makes you feel like you're really in it. When it's like, it's really, really bad and you're still listening. I'm still listening to the podcast and still trying to be involved in it. The excitement is no longer there where people are like, yeah, you got to buy this. You got to buy this. It's kind of like, well, in 3 years from now, we're going to be in a better place. So just ride the wave. If you liked crypto, if you still believe in it, small dick season is coming up, but I would say keep doing what you're doing if you believe in it.
Bitcoin bros are also on my list of losers of the year. Russell Wilson, Tom Brady, and the Bitcoin bros. It's ironic for me because my brother literally works in Bitcoin, but it is a terrible place to be right now. But hopefully you're right. And that's how you do your NFL bets the same way. You bet against where the public is. If it's 90% on one side, you fade the 90%. And so you're fading the 90% of people who are giving up on crypto and you're going to ride it out. Hopefully
you just gotta keep going. I have one last thing. I'm saying this year will be the rise of independent creators and independent businesses. A lot of people are getting laid off. A lot of people are doing their own thing. A lot of really smart people have been laid off. And I think these really smart people will take advantage of their knowledge and create businesses. And I think we'll see a really good boom in consumer products this year because I think a lot of people are going to realize that's the direction they need to go instead of working at a Facebook or a Twitter or something like that. So I think it's going to be a good year for creators.
That's a good one. You're a creator. I feel like you have a lot to offer all of these out of work creators. And so maybe you can start a way to mentor and facilitate their skills. And maybe there's something out there for you to take advantage of with all these people wanting to be creators.
I think the one thing holding me back is I'm lazy. I'm a very lazy person.
You're not lazy. I wouldn't say that.
I'm pretty lazy.
You're pretty active during the day.
I'm active, but I'm also lazy. It's like if I'm doing something, then you get lazy, right? You can do stuff and then just be lazy. I think the problem is it's getting started, right? Like doing a TikTok or doing these things take a lot of energy, like things that absorb a lot of energy. Like this is easy. We're doing this, we're recording this, but it's the work after that sometimes we don't want to do. Where it's like, oh, we have to snip this up into 85 different clips so the world can see us. But I will say, I did make this I put together, I have a big, actually, I can grab it if you want to see it.
Yeah, props.
It's not my dick. It's not my dick.
Small dick energy.
So last year I put this together. I'm putting a new one together this year. But this is my 2022 goal sheet.
Oh, wow. Super visual.
Wrote it all out, and it just sat on my wall, so I always glanced at it. So I have a ton of stuff like best moments, business goals, stuff like that. But this year, my goal is we will be Sports Hangover. We'll have a presence on TikTok, and we are doing it this year. I'm committed myself to at least 5 TikToks a week, which is nothing. That's literally like 10 seconds. I get on here and talk about whatever I want. Yeah. So we're gonna be there. We're gonna grow. We're gonna do something good. But yeah, I got a lot of goals. This year.
Well, it's a good thing. I'm glad that you have goals. I'm glad that we're going to have a TikTok presence. I don't have on my predictions list that TikTok will be banned in the US, but a lot of people do have that on their predictions list. And so if that happens, hopefully we have another presence for our 5 videos.
Well, we could also be on Instagram. We'll repost these to Instagram too. Don't worry.
Okay. Those are good. I have a few more predictions here. Let me go back to them. We'll go rapid fire here at the end.
Go.
The Mets and their record payroll. I know you love baseball predictions. Don't win the World Series. Steve Cohen, the richest owner in sports with an over $400 million payroll. It's not going to be enough. They won't even win the NL East. The Braves will do that for the 6th straight year. Tiger Woods, we talked about the Masters earlier. He's going to get people so excited for the Masters. By the way, today, December 30th, is Tiger Woods' 47th birthday. Wow. So shout out. Happy birthday to Tiger Woods. He gets people very excited for the Masters in April. It's only a few months away, but he won't be in contention because Jon Rahm is going to win the Masters. We can book that now.
Who's the oldest person to ever win the Masters? How old have they been to win the Masters? Like somebody over 47 ever won the Masters?
Tiger Woods recently would be the one. His return to form.
Okay, I'm gonna look it up.
Yeah, look that up. It'd be Tiger when he was like 45. That's when he won, right?
He just won 2 years ago.
He just won recently.
Jack Nicklaus. He was 46 years old in 1986. He was the oldest.
Didn't Tiger win more recently in 2019?
Let me see. Tiger Woods is 22, but he won it at 43.
At 43. I guess that was 3 years ago now. Well, now he's 47. He's not going to win, but Jon Rahm will win. So that's an early bet to make.
Okay.
And then a couple NFL ones to close us out here. The Cardinals are going to keep Cliff Kingsbury, and they're going to be the worst team of 2023. So that's kind of a random one, but everyone thinks he's going to be fired.
Okay. I like that. I do like that one. I think that one's a really good one. Does Kyler Murray stay?
Well, he's got the ACL, so he's not going to be ready in September. He'll stay, but then he's like going to not play, and then he'll probably want rehab properly because he's playing video games, so that'll delay his return. It's going to be like David Blow is starting for them this week. It's going to be a lot of David Blow next year is my prediction. And then my final one, and this is for you. Sean McVay is going to retire from the Rams, and that's a prediction, but that's not the whole prediction.
Okay, that's well known. I feel like he's going to leave.
Right.
Yeah, I like that one.
But I'm telling you, he's going to Amazon Thursday Night Football, and he's not going to replace Kirk right away. I can't say that because they want to make sure McVay is good. So I think in year one, it's Al, it's Kirk, and McVay, the old 3-man booth. And then McVay is going to be so good. He's going to be so good heading into 2024
because he knows
it's going to be Herb Street out. Probably Al Michaels out. I don't know if he'll survive that one. And then, and then McVay is in 2024. So that's a big prediction. Leaving the Rams.
I like that.
After this bad year, they have no first-round draft pick, salary cap hell. Stafford might retire, and Donald might retire. The whole thing's coming apart, and then he joins Amazon. It's the big prediction.
I do like that. I like somebody in the booth that knows the NFL, has been in an NFL stadium before.
Super Bowl champion.
Kirk
He's pretty good.
Yeah. I like that one a lot. I found, so in the last few days, there's this guy that puts out life hacks, and the New York Times went through and rewrote some of the life hacks to be like just easier to kind of like sift through, and they put some of their top favorites on there. So I took some of my favorites, and here's some just like fun life hacks that you could do this year that I felt were pretty good.
Oh.
One was buy champagne and write down goals on them. It's like the reverse of what Dave Portnoy does. You just write some goals on champagne bottles. You put them in your fridge. When you hit that goal, you pop a bottle of champagne.
Oh,
sometimes
that's a good one. You save it. Yeah.
Yeah, just like, oh yeah, we're doing whatever it is, just something easy. So you can just pop bottles whenever you want. It's hard to sometimes celebrate those wins. So I feel like if you make them easy goals, you'd be drinking champagne, a couple times a month. Just have some bottles. So I bought a whole bunch of bottles from Trader Joe's, assortment. They're all in my closet right now, and I have some goals on them. And if they hit, a bottle of champagne is going to be cracked. So I really like that one.
I like that.
The next one was, if you're traveling, you've never been there before, listen to an album you've never been there, never heard before, and forever that music will remind you of that place, which I felt like was a really good one. Because we actually did that once. We listened to Orville Peck. I thought it was with the desert, and now every time we listen to it, it's like, oh yeah, we were in Joshua Tree, we were doing this. So it's kind of like sound to memory kind of connection there, and I like that one.
You start associating a place to the music, and we know music can get you in your feels. It can really bring out your emotions and stir you up. So that's great.
Yeah. Last one was take photos of things your parents do every day, because that's how you want to remember them. Just doing the basic stuff. So instead of like, oh, at Thanksgiving or group photos, just take pictures of them like doing random shit they normally do or something like that. And I kind of liked it because you kind of look back and you're like, oh, remember this? And you don't have any photos, just like everyday life. And I think that's why just taking photos, just with candid photos, I would say, are a better bet than pose photos.
Yeah.
I like candid photos.
You like candid photos. Interesting thought. Our parents are getting older. We know that. Shout out to my dad, who's a big listener of the show. 70th birthday next week.
Whoa.
Big 7-0.
Is he popping
it's a big
champagne?
One.
Did you get him some champagne?
He's got a whole party this New Year's Eve weekend. He's got friends coming. They're staying at a resort. It's like a big deal for the New Year's party, because the birthday is January 4th, which is tough because it's around the holidays.
We have a birthday
around the holidays.
My birthday's at the end of January. There is no holiday. You almost forget you had Christmas, and then you're back. Okay.
We have gift fatigue by the time we get to yours. But yeah, our dads both listen to the show. They both think we're better than Jim Rome, which is one of the best compliments we could have.
He's off the air now.
Makes
right?
like $15 million a year. No, he's still making $15 million a year to do his show somehow, some way.
Is he on
like 7 listeners?
Is he on Showtime? Is he on Showtime?
He might have a show on Showtime. I feel like he's on like CBS Sports Radio or something weird like that.
Do you want to do?
I love the hacks.
Bets? Yes, the hacks are
for
great.
this week.
They're
Sure.
Do you want?
If they're still listening to us, they might as well lose some money before the end of the year.
All right. Listen. Last week we didn't do good. Last week we went 1-4.
You've been doing well overall. You gotta let people know that you had a run in this fourth quarter of the season.
We did have a little run. We're trying to get back there. This week's really tough. Not a lot of feels. You don't know who's sitting. You don't know who's doing what. I'm gonna start with the game you're going to. Rams at Chargers. Whatever. They're both at home. Both their stadium. The Rams are getting 6.5 points at home, basically. I'm taking the Rams here. I don't believe in what Baker Mayfield is doing, but I will take them. I feel like the Chargers are not that good. And I think the Rams can come out here and win a game. It's kind of like home field. You got to win this game. It's like Lakers versus Clippers. You want the Lakers to win. I think the Rams are like the Lakers. I'm taking Rams here. 6.5 points. They're a bad team.
You surprised me with that. You got me a little choked up. Listen, it's a battle for LA, and it's a big deal that I'm going to the Battle of LA, and whoever wins is going to decide my fandom for next year. Will I be on the Rams without McVay? Will I be on the Chargers with a new head coach, hopefully? Because Staley isn't the guy. We'll see. Yeah. So I'm open-minded for the Battle of LA. Cam Akers is running hard, and it sounds like Austin Eckler might not play because the Chargers are in the playoffs. So the Rams might have the best running back. Their offensive line is getting it done better. The Chargers have been disappointing every step of the way. Talk about fantasy football. I needed Justin Herbert to come through on Monday night. He did the opposite of coming through. He had 5 fantasy points playing the Colts, like a sorry team who's not going to the playoffs. It's like, Mike, you could score 5 points as a quarterback in fantasy football. I guarantee it.
Definitely.
I've seen your arm strength. I've seen it.
Yeah.
And so The Chargers aren't good. I love the bet to start with. And I'll be rooting for both teams when I'm there.
Okay. All right. Jets are at Seahawks. I'm taking the Jets -1.5 on the road in Seattle, but Mike White is back. Zach Wilson, we can add this to the prediction. Zach Wilson not going to be a Jet next year. He is off that team.
He might be in the USFL next year. XFL.
He might
whatever league. You didn't have the startup leagues as part of your predictions.
Oh yeah, USFL. Yeah.
The new XFL.
Those have been tough. Those predictions.
never worked out.
The Jets, I think, are overall better team. I love Gino, the Seahawks, but I just don't think this is their game. I know the Seahawks still have like a chance at winning, like getting into the playoffs. I just don't see them beating the Jets. I think the Jets are a better team.
They have a strong chance, actually. Like if the Commanders lose on Sunday, the Seahawks win, the Seahawks are in. Yeah.
Oh, should we switch the pick?
So it's possible. Listen, you're taking the Jets for one reason. 2 words. Mike White is the only reason. Because things have been going south for the Jets. They've been losing to bad teams like the Jags.
I do have a stat in our manifesto here. Must win scenarios since 2003. This is for the last game of the regular season. Clearly, this is not a last game, but it's week 17. It's only 16-26, 38% against the spread. So this is what scares me about must-win scenarios this week. The pressure's on. Teams are here. There's a lot of other teams that could like possibly make the playoffs, but they have like 2% chance. That's why I took the Jets. But yeah, I didn't know the Seahawks had such a high probability.
They have a really good chance. They need the Commanders to lose one of their last 2 games, but I think the Commanders with Carson Wentz are very capable of that.
I have the Saints at Philly. The Saints are getting 5.5 points on the road in Philly. Andy Dalton's there playing against Minshew Magic. Minshew did not perform. I mean, he did well.
I thought he did. He had some picks, but he threw for a bunch of yards.
I liked the Saints here. I feel like Philly's kind of in, right? They don't need to win this game. Or does this clinch their number 1 seed? Or are they already clinched?
I think they already clinched number 1 seed.
So maybe they rest some guys. They don't need to get this win. They could play kind of soft.
Yeah.
They could still win by 3, and I cover the spread, so I'm taking the Saints here.
Speaking of soft, the Saints have been soft year in, year out. This whole year, they've been soft. There's an issue going on with Alvin Kamara. If we go back to our scandalous roots, we would be uncovering that right now because he's missed practice 2 days in a row. No one knows why, and he deleted his entire Instagram.
Well, we did talk before the season. He was possibly going to go to like jail or court or something.
Yeah, he got in a fight. So did William McGinnis. Whatever.
All right, well, seems like something's about to come.
Something's mysteriously going on with Alvin Kamara ahead of this game. And so that has fantasy implications for me and betting implications for you. So keep an eye on that one. I don't think the Eagles just lay down. I think Minshew's playing for a job next year because he's a free agent. He played well against Dallas. I think he keeps slinging it.
Okay. Chicago at Detroit. We're taking Detroit here -6 at home against Chicago. Justin Fields, is he 100%? Is he 100% back?
No, you're never 100% at this stage of the season, but he's playing.
Taking Detroit, 90% of the money's on Chicago. So I'm playing Detroit here. It's just kind of like an easy move.
I think the game's in Detroit, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Controlled dome. Jared Goff's been slinging it at home. The offense is working at home. At one point, I thought, well, they're going to have a top 2 draft pick. They're going to take a quarterback. Jared Goff might have played well enough this year to say, don't take a quarterback. I mean, where are you on that? Because he puts up numbers. They're in the playoff mix.
He's kind of like that Kirk Cousin kind of vibe where like, I don't fully trust you, but you're capable of getting the job done when needed and when planned and we execute it correctly. But you're not going to go out there and make magic happen like Patrick Mahomes or Josh Allen. You are Jared Goff. Played one of the highest scoring games ever against Kansas City out here in LA that I was at that game.
You were there. Yeah.
I was there. I just don't think he's not a guy that I would love to have, but you're glad to have him because you're not like, okay, we don't have somebody like Mac Jones, who clearly is not a number 1 quarterback right now. And he disappointed us.
Correct.
Lost a lot of money for it.
Well, so many teams, the Patriots, the Jets, the Commanders, teams that are trying to make the playoffs would love a guy that we're talking about here,
How did San Francisco get 3? They got Trey Lance, Garoppolo, and then they got Brock.
Anyone can have a 7th-round quarterback that wants one. They just normally cut them or have them on the practice squad. Shanahan is actually playing his, and he's making him look good.
He looks great. This This is from mutual friend. I just agreed. I had no feel, and I just blindly agreed to this bet. He wants Arizona on the road in Atlanta. They're getting 3.5 points. I could not name the quarterback on either team. I don't know what's going on. Who's the quarterback in Atlanta? Who's the
Arizona? David Blow. That's one of my things on Cliff Kingsbury. So I know David Blow is going to blow it for Arizona. Atlanta probably has Desmond Ritter. I think he's been playing.
Okay, so
Atlanta has some good running backs, Algier and Patterson. I thought when you said mutual friend, I thought we're going back to the Steelers well, and they've been winning, but like ugly, and they have a 4% shot at the playoffs, but he thinks they're actually going to get in.
He has like a lot of hope.
Playoff game. No one wants Steelers Chiefs again. We saw it last year. No one wants it again.
Is it weird how much hope he has? He's like breaking down like the stats for Pittsburgh. He was breaking them down for me today. I'm like, that's great, but I don't. 4% seems pretty low. Like a lot of things.
Well, you know what he says? Heading into week 18 last year, they had a 5% chance. So he's acting like it's going to happen again. And really, the odds are once it happens once at 5%, it never will again.
Okay. Well, there we go. So we're taking Arizona.
I think the Dolphins and Teddy Bridgewater are still the best of the worst. And it's like bad teams fighting for that last spot in the AFC because the Chargers are in now. So it's Dolphins, Patriots, Jets, Steelers. Like, they all suck.
You're the best of the worst with Teddy.
Yeah, even with Teddy, right? Like, Teddy can throw it to Tyreek at least.
But is any shot Tua comes back? How long is he out? I mean, this is his 4th one this year. So it's like every few weeks he's getting one.
I don't think he's come back this year. And this is what we're used to as Dolphins fans. Depression always hits. Sometimes it hits week 1. Sometimes it hits week 17. This year, it hit a couple times. Every time Tua's head hit the ground, our depression hit. And now it's hit at the maximum level because they're calling for his retirement again. And honestly, what do you do heading into next year, right? Because we had all these rumors of Tom Brady in the previous year. And now Brady should be available. Derek Carr's available. You have some like Gardner Minshew available. Maybe Goff's available. Maybe Stafford's available. You got all these guys. They're not great, but they're guys. And then you have Tua. And you don't know what is Tua going to be cleared to play. Is he going to be this concussion risk? You have to have a great backup if you rely on Tua because he's going to go down at any moment. It's like they might move off of Tua despite how good he was at times this year because you can't even trust him in the future.
So does he just become a backup? He's still on his rookie contract, right? So you haven't actually fully signed him to a deal?
Yeah, I think he's got one more year, and then you have that 5th-year option.
It always sucks for rookies. It's like they don't get paid those first few years. You only get like a big contract if you're first round pick or first top.
Yeah, and he was a first round. He was 5th overall, so he got paid. But yeah, second rounders don't get much until their 5th or 6th year in the NFL.
Well, those are our picks. This is a very long show, hour-long show. By the way, only 3 afternoon games on Sunday. Why are there no more games? 3 afternoon games. They're not even. I mean, San Francisco at Raiders.
There's 4
Jets
now.
at Seahawks. There's 4. What's the 4th one?
Vikings, Packers, and Rams, Chargers.
I thought Rams, Chargers are at 8:20.
They originally were, but they got flexed. Mutual friend has Steelers in that slot now. Steelers, Ravens got moved out. So we got 4 games at one. I won't be watching Red Zone. I'll actually be in person on a Sunday, first time all year.
What a miserable day to go to the stadium. Shouldn't go. No one's going to be there. You should get
Battle for LA.
Yeah.
They're coming down. They're around 100 now.
Wait till they're like 30 or 40. Don't.
You know where they are cheapest? And you're right about this. Ticketmaster.
Yeah. Because that's official tickets. Yeah.
They never sold them in the first place.
No. All right. Good show. Check out the sportshangover.com. Those are predictions. And we'll be back next week.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.